Good morning. Today I want to read chapters 49 through 52 of Thus Spake Christopher to you. Again, it's my treatise on non-duality and theory and practice and lessons I've learned about life, which is put together loosely in the style of Thus Spake Zarathustra. So, anyway, let's see if I can share my screen. First, a couple of housekeeping things I need to take care of so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, as usual, everything can be found at www.docbenton.com. You scroll down to the section called The Best of Doc Benton, and here's Thus Spake Christopher, a short PDF file you can download and read for yourself if you prefer. But I'll go ahead and read the next 4 chapters or sections for you, starting with 49. So, Chapter 49. The man asked, if awareness does not go away with sleep, then doesn't it go away with death? I began to answer. When awareness is within the body, it appears as the observer within us, and we create an individual ego around that observer, and we assign all sorts of characteristics and descriptions to our own ego. However, when we merge completely with the awareness within us, there is no thing, and not even the characteristic of no thing. Furthermore, having no characteristics, it is beyond categories such as existence and non-existence. And so how can it be affected by death? It can't, as it is beyond both life and death. Instead, what dies is just the brain and the body. Nonetheless, I believe, as suggested by physics, in a conservation of information. I believe that information exists wherever and that, thus, it is possible that awareness not tethered to the body can continue to read that information and identify with it. And this leads to doctrines of what we think of as a soul that can continue to evolve. Perhaps science will someday have proof of this one way or another. Until then, however, I'll follow my beliefs and my personal experiences. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 50. The man next asked, if the basis for reality is an observer, the observed, and the act of observing, then don't 3 things exist instead of one? I began to answer. It is true that we often think of reality being composed of these 3 components, with the observer inside, the observed outside of ourselves, and the act of observing being their interaction. But aren't they really one? For instance, when you see an object, is it out there or in awareness? And when you have knowledge of the object, is that knowledge sitting within awareness or outside of it? Surely all is seen and known within awareness and is never separate from it. There is no cognition other than that which is within awareness. Nothing is known without awareness being present. Therefore, the unknowable awareness is our entire world, with the so-called parts of that indivisible whole appearing to us one at a time. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 51. The man then asked, but what if all your arguments and conclusions are wrong? I began to answer. Let's suppose for the moment that all of my explanations and beliefs are incorrect, and that the viewpoint of conventional science, that consciousness is an emergent property of the brain, and that it disappears with the passing of the body, is the correct point of view. In this case, I would simply point out that all that I've said is still how things appear from the viewpoint of awareness. In other words, it is still the case that our awareness cannot be directly observed by us in the manner that we observe a chair, that all our perceptions exist only within awareness, and that we feel more unity as we turn our attention back towards the indivisible awareness itself. In other words, even if my view of the world is not scientifically true, it is experientially true. It is how we experience the world, and for that reason, the remedies put forth by me for overcoming separation and experiencing wholeness are still the same. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 52. The man then asked, what exists between two consecutive thoughts? I began to answer. A state of pure awareness resides between every two thoughts. Some might scoff at that and say that nothing exists between two thoughts. And to this I would respond by saying, exactly. In other words, since pure awareness is beyond perception and has no characteristics that can be discerned, when one is merged with it, how is that distinguishable from a pure nothing between two thoughts? Again, when the average person thinks of nothing, they think in terms of an empty box which is only a relative nothingness, since there is still the presence of the box. A pure nothingness, however, is much more wonderful and is indistinguishable from pure awareness. Hence, if someone says that nothing exists between two consecutive thoughts, then I agree completely, because that is exactly my stance too. Pure awareness, pure nothingness, and pure everything are all the same. Thus spake Christopher. Okay, and that's it for today. So let me stop sharing my screen. I'll pick up next time with chapter 53. And I'm back. And that's it, as I said, for today. So I hope you are doing well. Uh, I hope you're enjoying this. And regardless, go forth with kindness. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Hope to see you again soon. Until then, so long and be well.